Well, as we interrupt our discussion with Paula, there you see Speaker Pelosi standing there with some of the furloughed workers who have been affected by this government shutdown. Let's listen.
He's being unfair, not only to the workers, but also to the American people whose services he is depriving them, and also to our economy. The president's manufacturing crisis reaches into the lives of millions of Americans. It threatens services and benefits they need to stay healthy and secure. It robs hardworking Americans of their paychecks. Some we will hear from, like Steve Reeves and the 3,200 workers of the AFGE National Local 4060, Holly Salamito and the 5,000 workers of AFGE Council 222, Eric Young, and the 3,200 men and women of AFGE Council 33. These numbers are numbers to you, but they are people. They are families. They are resources in our community, and we'll hear from them. And of course, we're very, very honored to welcome J. David Cox, who represents the 700,000 American Federation of Government Employees. Later today, congressional Democrats will go to the White House. Will have given the president a Republican path forward. We have said to them, we are willing to accept what the Senate Republicans have passed overwhelmingly in the Senate. We'll take your path forward. Take yes for an answer. Instead, he has chosen a wall over workers. The president needs to end his senseless shutdown and reopen the government. And a champion in making that distinction for the president. You want to negotiate on the wall? Let's proceed in a way that is respectful of our security and respectful of our values. I'm pleased to yield to the distinguished Democratic Leader of the Senate, Senator Schumer.
Thank you, Leader Pelosi, and I want to thank everyone here from AFGE, J. David Cox, and the great workers. And these are the people this is all about. These are people, it could be a cloudy Monday morning, rainy. They have 100 fever, but they go to work because they believe in what they are doing. They know how important it is to the American people. And to use them as hostages through a temper tantrum by the president is just so wrong, so unfair, so mean-spirited. It ought to end, and it ought to end now. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed. 100,000 more are working without pay. In a short time, they're going to miss their first paycheck. And when you multiply those federal workers by their family members, the people they love and care about and who rely on their steady paycheck to survive, you get a better sense of the pain that the president is causing with his shutdown. We've been joined today by men and women who are really dedicated in our VA hospitals and in FEMA and in EPA and in federal prisons. The people behind me represent the real human collateral damage of President Trump's temper tantrum. The president speaks all the time using this shutdown to make our border secure. But the dark irony is he's forcing TSA agents, CBP officers, and prison guards to work without pay. Tell me how that makes America more secure. So the president needs to come to his senses and end this shutdown now. I don't think he persuaded a soul with his talk last night. It was same old, mistruths, divisiveness. Didn't have the effect he had hoped. Speaker Pelosi and I are ready to pass legislation, already approved by Senate Republicans, to reopen the government. And while we continue the debate on border security, we all want border security. There are different views on how to get there. But to hold these people hostage, instead of just letting them do their jobs, which they want to do while we work out our differences, so wrong. Why should we ask TSA officers to go without their hard-earned pay while they protect our airports? Why should we ask food safety inspectors to go without their hard-earned pay while they ensure the food we eat is safe? Why should we ask prison guards to go without their hard-earned pay while they keep the public safe. It makes no sense. None of these things have anything to do with a $5 billion request to fund the wall, which of course Mexico is still not paying for, despite what the president said last night. The House passed legislation to reopen the government. It's time for President Trump, our Republican colleagues in the Senate, to accept it. My message to President Trump and my Republican colleagues in Congress is simple. Our federal workers just want to do their job. It's time that you do yours. J. David Cox.
Thank you so much, Leader. Good morning, and I truly want to thank Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer for inviting us here today. Federal employees are absolutely, completely, and without reservation opposed to this government shutdown lockout, and it is a lockout, brothers and sisters. Whether we're being forced to work without pay or locked out of our jobs and prevented from going to work, we want this shutdown lockout to end this very minute. We don't just oppose it because we're not getting paid, but that would be reason enough. We don't just oppose it because we're being kept from doing our jobs on behalf of the American citizens, but that would be enough. We don't just oppose it because it makes a mockery of our democracy and our government, but that too would be reason enough. We oppose it for all those reasons plus another very important reason. One, we oppose being held hostage. We oppose being collateral damage. We oppose the use of extortion instead of reasoned debate. We oppose politicians who think so little of us, our work, and the institutions of government that they think nothing of bringing whole government departments to their knees. Let's be vigorous in the debate over budgets and taxes and spending and border security. The Senate is the greatest deliberative body in the world, and so is the House. Oh, Madam Speaker, I was getting there. But let everyone make their best arguments. Try to persuade people. That's our system of government. That's the system of checks and balances in our government. But do not hold the government hostage. Do not hold our tax dollars hostage. Do not hold federal employees hostage. Do not hold our members' paycheck hostage. This morning, you'll hear from real federal employees who will tell you what's happening all across this country as our members try to figure out how to pay their bills this week without a paycheck on payday. You're going to hear from Eric Young from the Bureau of Prisons and Holly Salamito from HUD and from Steve Reeves from FEMA. And you're going to hear what this shutdown, and it is a lockout, feels like. What the damage it's doing to real people whose average take-home pay is $500 a week. Real families, they need their jobs, they need their paydays, they want to service the American people, and it's time for this lockout to end. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker and Mr. Leader. Thank you. Eric Young with our Council of Prison Locals.
Good morning. My name is Eric Young, the National President of the Council of Prison Locals. We represent 32,000 bargaining unit employees inside our nation's...
All right, you've been listening to the Democrat leaders there meeting with members, federal workers who've been furloughed, and you are hearing some of their personal stories and some of the difficult decisions they're having to make as we get close to that day where they will not be receiving a paycheck, and that is Friday. We're going to continue to follow all the events on Capitol Hill. Day 19 of the government shutdown, no end in sight. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The family of a patient who became pregnant while in a coma is speaking out for the first time. Their daughter has been in a coma for a decade and gave birth last month. In a statement released through a lawyer, the family says that they are shocked at the neglect and abuse their daughter suffered.
Police have issued a warrant for DNA samples from all male employees at the Hacienda healthcare facility where she lives. This is being treated as a sexual assault investigation. The family has also agreed to take custody of the new baby.
Here is CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman joining us now, because you're right, neither of us could understand that recording, and it sounded a little scratchy too anyways, right? But you're going to tell us how damaging this evidence was.
I think yesterday was the day that the government should go home and say, we convicted El Chapo today. I think yesterday was the biggest day in this trial so far. And for me, who has been very skeptical about these witnesses, yesterday turned the tide for me. What happened here is, we love, of course, the intrigue of the FBI being, now by the way, we're dealing now with the FBI, not the DEA. So you have another federal agency that gets involved, and they decide over time the only way to really get evidence against people in this cartel is we've got to get the phone calls, that the phone calls are the most important thing. What's the problem? System is encrypted. So the FBI has got to find a way to either break that encryption or find a way into it. So how do they find it? They really trap, not entrap, but trap the IT guy by having an FBI agent go undercover and say that he wants his own encryption system, meets with the IT guy in a hotel room, and the rest is history. This IT guy, by the way, you have to remember, is really courageous, because you would wonder, some of these witnesses, we've heard cooperating witnesses who say they were so anxious they had a nervous breakdown that, you know, everything in their lives was in danger. Here you have an IT guy who is simultaneously working for the cartel, knows how violent it is, and is working for the FBI. So they get the cartel to move the servers out of Canada and move them to the Netherlands, where the U.S. has a great cooperating law enforcement relationship. And they can get the encrypted calls. So what did you hear? Well, yesterday, there were approximately a dozen calls that were played for the jury. Out of the 800, 100 to 200 of which feature El Chapo. And what we learn about El Chapo from these calls, once his voice is identified, are three things. He's either running or deeply involved in the Sinaloa drug cartel. He's literally talking to a corrupt cop. And that the other part of it is my favorite. He tries to calm an assassin about not killing a cop.
Take it easy on the cop.
Take it easy on him.
Jeez Louise. So you said this really sort of turned the tide between the Zambada witness and these phone calls. What type of case do you think the prosecution is really building here? Because it seemed like before it was a case with a bunch of bad guys, essentially, who were all involved in the drug trade, testifying against him. But of course, the counter argument was, well, if he's the head of the Sinaloa cartel, then why is the Sinaloa cartel still raging on as usual when he's been in prison for so long?
Well, that argument doesn't go away. And I think that that's an argument for jury nullification, basically saying to the jury, without quite saying it, yeah, this is a very bad guy. This is a guy who was involved in the cartel. We can't deny that. But the cartel goes on, and it's really his partner, his former partner, Almeo, who ran it then and is running it now. So what do you wind up with? Well, maybe he doesn't get convicted of the top count. Maybe in the best case scenario for the defense, he's not the head of this RICO enterprise, this racketeering enterprise called the Sinaloa drug cartel. But he still is guilty of a lot of the other counts. Remember, there's 17 counts in this indictment. And any way you look at it, El Chapo is never getting out of prison in the United States of America.
You know, the thing that I think, though, is, but is that going to even stop anything?
No, I mean, it's funny, Ricky, I was thinking about this when we were sort of looking at this evidence from the last couple of days, and I just thought to myself, you know, when the mafia in the United States, when they sort of cut off all the heads of the families, you know, they're still there, but they're nothing like they were at their heyday because, you know, courageous prosecutors, you know, took down the John Gottis and all those individuals. Here, I don't know if it's going to have the same effect.
I don't think it's possible to have the same effect because you're dealing with international drug trafficking. You're dealing with drug trafficking that may begin in a place like Colombia, goes through Ecuador, winds up in Guatemala, winds up in Mexico. And let's face it, you know, one of the things we don't like to admit, drug trafficking is all about supply and demand. And the demand is in the United States of America.
And it's higher than ever.
It's higher than ever. And the Sinaloa drug cartel is so smart because when marijuana wasn't enough, they went to cocaine. When cocaine wasn't enough, they went to heroin, then to methamphetamine. And now I am told by reliable sources that how smart are they? Well, what's the big drug in America today? Opioids. So what do? They find out how much it sells for on the street, and they undercut it.
It's not even, I mean, it's not just Mexico, it's China, it's Russia. It's, I mean, we're just going to be here for...
And by the way, the one thing we haven't discussed in that whole idea of yours is where is the CIA in all of this?
Very interesting.
Ricky, thank you.
Always great, Ricky. Thanks.
Well, a second man has been charged in the murder of 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes in the parking lot of a Houston Walmart. 24-year-old Larry D. Woodruff has been charged alongside 20-year-old Eric Black. Both men are facing the death penalty.
Jasmine's mother was also shot in the attack, and her sister was injured by broken glass. A funeral was held for little Jasmine yesterday. Police believe, if you can believe this, it was a case of mistaken identity.
I know. In Miami, our CBS station WFOR reports that Broward Sheriff Scott Israel may be removed from office in the coming days. It's likely because of the criticism surrounding the response to the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
Reports say there was a perceived lack of urgency from officers initially arriving at the scene. In some cases, officers reportedly did not run towards gunfire and, of course, had not received proper training. That came out, too. 17 people were killed and 17 others were injured in the attack on Valentine's Day last year. Well, coming up after a quick break, much more on President